So people cannot understand the enormity of the change that's coming.
Yes, it's quite large, but again, it's one of those things where it's sort of hard to communicate to the layman because it sounds so crazy. It takes time. It takes time to sit down and do the thesis analysis, and you have to spend a lot of hours to validate the thesis because the thesis is crazy.
I know,
The
and it's
thesis
totally
is
crazy.
crazy, so you have to spend time to validate that. Am I going crazy?
Okay, so here, maybe this is outside your domain of expertise, but let me throw you this. This is one of the things I've been thinking about, and again, correct me.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert in this at all. Let's say that you and I are correct.
Yeah.
Let's say that when do you think the Tesla takeover will happen?
I mean, it's definitely going to be gradual, for sure, because you think about how many cars are there in the world. There's over 1 billion cars in the world.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, there's a ton of vehicles. So it's going to take time for Tesla to proliferate everywhere, but you're talking about a total addressable market that's gigantic. And so it's going to be one of those things where
3 years.
no,
5.
no, what's your goal? Like every car is a
No,
self-driving car?
when's Uber gonna collapse?
When's Uber going to collapse? I think Uber is going to be in deep trouble by the end of this decade for sure, 100%.
Oh wow, you're
100%.
far more optimistic than I am.
I think so because you only, again, Uber has 1 million active drivers in the United States.
Okay, well that's where I'm going. Okay, 2 things. One, if we're right, then Bill Aikman's wrong, and I would hate to bet against him.
Sure.
So he's heavily invested in Uber.
He is.
And
And I
I
told
don't-
him not to be, by the way.
Oh, did
I
you?
replied to his post.
I texted him. I'm like, robotaxi. I think I sent him your video. Too.
What is his justification for
Fuck
Uber?
if I know.
Okay.
But he must know something that we don't know.
So the
So
only
what does
thing,
he know that we don't know?
So I've tried to think about that, right? So the only way for Uber to stay competitive is to have their own self-driving network, right? Because with a human driver, it's going to be uncompetitive because the cost of a self-driving car is going to be way lower to operate than a human driver. So given that, if a self-driving car was available versus a human-driven one, over time everybody would choose the self-driving car because it's private, cheaper,
Sure, no,
safer.
there's no question.
Right? Okay, no question. Right. So the only way for Uber to compete is to have their own driverless network. The only other competitor that Tesla has from a self-driving perspective that is anywhere close to Tesla's scale can make a maximum, in the best case scenario, 10,000 cars per year. Maximum. Absolute Zeekr. The company's name is Zeekr, which is partnered with Waymo.
Okay, so what does Bill Aikman know that we don't know?
That's been the thing that I've been racking my brain on. I don't know.
Why would he? You don't think it's like a false flag? You don't think he's just like?
I don't understand. I like to think that I'm really dumb, honestly, and I always try to plug holes in my own thesis all the time. I'm literally where you at, which is like, there is very smart people out there that don't see this. So am I losing my mind? And then anytime I do the work to ensure that I'm not losing my mind, I come back to the same exact landing point, which is no, I'm right. I'm right, I think, right? Not investment, financial advice. It feels like I'm right. And so every single day I test that thesis and I'm like, okay, what am I missing today? What am I missing today? And each time it's like, no, it's impossible. It's impossible. The only way Uber survives is if they become the fleet runner for Tesla. But at that point, they're just an extension of Tesla. Tesla just buys them and just makes them their fleet provider.
Well, that's the other thing I was
Right?
thinking as well. Okay, so what I want
But that's just Tesla at that
I
point.
want to linger with you on one thing you said because I've been thinking about it a lot, and I also, I quote unquote make a living out of asking people how they could be wrong.
Yeah, for
about
sure.
things.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot is let's just accept by fiat the argument that you and I are correct.
Yeah.
Maybe we may disagree on the timeline. I would probably defer to you, frankly.
Sure.
If you think it's going to be 10 years. You're talking about a major disruption of
Yes.
1 million people in
Yes.
employment.
Massive.
This is a massive disruption.
Massive.
Nobody's talking about it.
Correct.
Nobody's thinking about it.
Yes.
Okay, so we're on agreement
100%
in that.
agreed. I think
Well,
our
why are
societies,
people- yeah.
they're ill-equipped. Well, so when is the last time that a government was able to proactively solve for a disruption to the economy?
I don't know, you need an economic historian for that. I'm trying to think. I can't.
Never.
I'm just thinking
That's
like,
why crashes happen. That's why disruptions happen, is because societies aren't able to absorb the disruption. That's how they happen. They come and then people are like, oh shit, we got to do something else. And then there's a period of readjustment, and then we come out on the other side.
I'd like to add something, and please,
Yeah.
if this is not great. I think it's not only that, it's no, we could never have predicted this. We could never have seen this coming. I think
it's coming fast.
No, but I think that's their excuse. And I think
of course.
I think it's their excuse because this is perhaps a little extra topical, but the process in Western democratic societies to elect leaders is not the same as, it doesn't select for those skills to make them become good leaders.
Yes.
And so I think that we have a disjoint there, the delta between the change and difference. So I think that, I think that we see that in energy policy.
Yep.
This is just parenthetical, but did you know how, with very few exceptions, and one being China, you know how ambassadors are appointed in this country?
How?
Political favors.
Not surprised.
You can be an ambassador to like.
Shocking.
You can be an ambassador to like Poland or something and not even speak Polish.
Wow.
That like completely blows my mind.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all.
But anyway,
Yeah.
but so I think it's.
Can I throw you another one in there
Yeah.
too? So in Congress, right? There's no term limits. So what does that mean? Everybody in Congress right now, in Senate and the House, right? So there's no term limit. So what does that mean? Half the time they're running for re-election. So how much time are they really spending thinking about how to create policy to make this country better? They're spending basically half of their time at least trying to get into power the next year. So you think about the total hours they have to think about the future of the country. Every forcing function is forcing them to only look 2 to maximum 4 years out. And stuff like this takes decades potentially to happen. But sometimes it happens so quickly, So it's like, I don't think our policymakers are actually fit to plan for the future properly just because of how Congress is set up. If we have no term limits and it was just you get in and you do your job and get out, and maybe we extend it to say 4 years and 8 years respectively, maybe that gives them more time to do it. But that's just another thing I've been thinking about a lot. Anyway, that's a tangent.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, I'm flooded with thoughts here. So we've talked very little bit about robotaxis, about employment, unemployment, about Uber, about Tesla. We haven't talked at all about robotics and robots and the disruption. You're comfortable telling me
100%.
And tell me specifically, like, what are your predictions, your 5-year predictions?
Yeah, so from my standpoint, with humanoid robots, what Tesla has done is the same stack that they're using to teach their cars how to drive, they're going to use the same stack. They're going to use the same exact technology to teach the humanoid robot how to work. So it's basically going to be a camera system with the AI chip on board, and they're going to train the robot how to do movements using video. It's very similar to how the car has learned how to drive, but instead of going forwards, backwards, left, and right, they have to teach the robot how to manipulate using their arms, their legs, so on and so forth. So that's what they're going to be working on next.
Okay, so I've seen Amazon's factories.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy
Incredible.
shit, those little things.
Incredible.
And then I've seen a couple videos, not much, of Tesla's factory, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do you see that technology being, I don't know, ubiquitous might be too strong, but like, what kind of penetration do you see?
Huge.
I'm only talking 5 years.
Oh, 5 years? I think in the next 5 years, it'll be done. So humanoid robots are going to be very useful in work environments where the jobs are repetitive. So pick thing up, put it down, move thing from point A to point B, do repetitive motion that's easy to train.
What about
over
like
and
make
over
barbecue
again.
like over
It'll
there?
take time. Yeah, making barbecue is going to take probably a little bit more than 5 years, but like I said, like maybe 10 years. No more than the end of the next decade, like by 2040. By 2040, we're going to have companies that are making...
I'll be dead.
I hope not.
No, I'll be dead.
I think by the end of next decade, we'll have more than one company for sure making millions of humanoid robots per year. And these humanoid robots are going to get better over time because their ability to do things is not necessarily a function of the hardware, it's a function of the software. So
okay, so let me ask a question. If you're not
Yeah.
comfortable, if you think this is too far afield from your area of expertise, tell me.
Yeah.
And, okay, so I'm thinking out loud here, but it's something I've been thinking about for a while. So
Yeah.
we've gone fucking bananas printing money.
Yes.
Like we've gone crazy.
Yes.
We're literally gonna get what we deserve.
Yes.
And this is also impossible for people to comprehend.
Yes.
This is such a catastrophe. Okay, so one would think that this would lead to an inflationary cycle, and in normal times, it would be obvious. However, do you see the introduction, the wide-scale, almost ubiquitous introduction of robotics causing a deflationary cycle that's sufficient to offset the deranged bananas money printing we've done?
I mean, it has to. It has to, right? If you really think about the cost of a human or robot at scale, it's probably going to be anywhere between 25 to 50,000 per unit, but that's a one-time cost, right? And then as it gets more and more intelligent and learns how to do more and more tasks, it's going to get to a point where it's going to operate
Fix
somewhere,
itself, maybe?
potentially. But I think that the key takeaway there is that over time, the human or robot cost per hour to operate, it's going to be sub $5 per hour. It's going to be closer to $3 per hour.
Okay, so that's two things. So would that be sufficient at scale to offset the deranged money printing we've gone through?
If we don't view that as a way to print more money,